Hello everyone, this is Entrepreneurship 5112 and we are doing Learning Unit 9 and it's all about networking. The previous learning unit was about a positive mindset and having a positive attitude. You can imagine if you're a positive person, another thing that you have to do as an entrepreneur is to network. And for those that know what networking is, you know that it deals with people, and you cannot deal with people if you do not bring your best self. So the learning outcomes for this learning unit is describe the component of a professional network. And then we're going to differentiate between the categories and the types of professional networks that they are. Then we're also going to learn we're going to explain the process of setting up a professional network. And I think that's an important question to maybe know, because if you are an entrepreneur, how would you set up a professional network? And then describe the function of a professional network. We always know that the function of anything is always important. And then discuss the elements of developing and maintaining a professional network. Also very important one, this one. And then the role of information in networking, because if you say you're networking, what exactly are you selling? It's information, right? So yeah, and then apply the networks to your business, and then explain the value of networking to the growth of a business, and then explain the various networking skills. Learning outcome 1, describe the concept of a professional network. They have different categories of definitions, and this first one is the networks. They say that networks are patterned, beneficial relationships between individuals, groups, or organizations, and are used to secure the critical economic and non-economic resources needed to start and manage a business. And so that basically talks about you running your business, that you will need to have beneficial relationships between people, with your organization, etc., etc. And networking is the active process of setting up and maintaining mutual, rewarding, and cooperative relationships with other persons or businesses, which can offer critical support for the growth of a business. So here we have networks, which are the actual relationships, right? And networking is the process of setting up these relationships. And the idea of networks emanates from various theories in the field of social sciences. However, we are going to focus on the social network theory. And this theory states that social network comprises of interrelated dyadic ties, or more simply, social interaction between two individuals or groups. And that is it. A network is just a relationship which starts with two people and or more. Learning outcome 2, differentiate between the categories and types of professional networks. We can distinguish between two broad categories of social networking. Number 1, there is personal networking, and then there is extended networking. And then within these two categories, there are 3 types of social networks: basically communication, exchange, and normative categories. So communication means the exchange of information, and then exchange network is the exchange of goods and services, and then a normative network is exchanges based on social expectations. And this one is a little bit of a difficult one, because forming relationships is all good and well, but once now you have to start doing things because now people are expecting you to do it. I think that's where I have a problem with networking. I want to be able to sleep at night, so it's kind of hard when somebody has to set some sort of a standard and an action-based standard for you. And then personal networks, They concern those persons with whom you have direct relationships and focus on the individual. An extended network, however, focuses on a network of business rather than on an individual level. So the personal ones is when you are involved, but with extended network, this is when your business is doing business with another business, you know. I like that sentence. And here we've got just a diagram of those social networks. Like we said, we've got personal networks, and then we've got extended networks. And within each, we've got communication. Remember, we talked about the fact that networks are about information that is being shared, and then exchange networks. This is when we're exchanging goods and services. And then here they talk about normative networks, and this is where those extended networks come in. And here they refer to self-confidence, because you can imagine as an entrepreneur on an individual level, you need to have some of that self-confidence. Learning outcome 3, explain the process of setting up a professional network. The approach to be adopted in developing an effective network is similar to that followed in strategic planning. And here are the steps. Number 1, you would have to establish your business needs. Like you will say, oh, right now I need a bank loan, for instance. Then you have to chart existing networks. The first thing is, okay, we do have a bank account, so maybe we can go talk to our banker, right? Then chart required networks and set network goals. So as much as maybe you do have a bank account, you don't have, that bank relationship with your banker, and it's actually the banker that's going to approve you for that loan. So you have to then fill the gaps in your network, which means you have to then start those relationships, and there's where you set up a maintenance system, because you do not just start a relationship, but after you've started that relationship, you also have to maintain it. So if you're saying you're in a relationship with your banker, that means you're not going to see them once, and then once your loan is done, you don't see them again. You maintain a relationship, because soon enough you'll be needing something else. So that maintenance system, I think, is the most important part for me, and it kind of gives you the weight of the responsibility of developing a network. A network is quite the responsibility. And then describe the function of a professional network. Strong network ties serve the following functions. They ensure that the growth goals and vision of the entrepreneur are realistic. They help the entrepreneur to identify opportunities, and they provide the entrepreneur with practical assistance, emotional support, access to resources, access to new people and markets. So it's really there to kind of support. It's kind of like a backbone support to your business plan, or the rolling out of your business plan. Then discuss the elements of developing and maintaining a professional network. And in this, they say entrepreneurs who want to start developing an effective network should understand 2 important principles, and these are namely reciprocity and maintenance. I've already picked up on that maintenance one. So what is reciprocity? They say that networks are built on this reciprocity, and reciprocity means that the relationship you have with your contact should be one of give and take. So you're basically, what are you giving? And that has to be something valuable, because what you're also going to get, you will deem as valuable. So that relationship, if you can have a relationship like that, or in fact, let's put it that way, developing a professional network requires reciprocity. And then networks need to be maintained constantly, because they are not compulsory relationships. They are very hard to repair if they are broken by confrontation or neglect. So somebody keeps giving you business, but when are you not giving them business back? By the time you guys are, we get to the conversation, they are blocking you or they're cutting you off. And then with careful planning, the following procedure can speed up the network development process. Number 1, identify people and organizations. So with our loan example, you identify a bank, and within the bank, you say, okay, there's a person called whoever that I can go talk to. So, imagine when you introduce yourself to somebody who doesn't know you, and you're introducing yourself by referring to them by name and surname. You know, that's a very, you've got their eye. What is it? Their attention. You grab their attention in that way. And then seek criticism, advice, and suggestions on the new venture from these people. And I love that. This is people that you can just bounce off your ideas with. Ask them for advice about contacts. Who do they know? Where can they, where can they shorten the line for you? That's a line I just made up. And then ask them what preparation is necessary before speaking to the target context. So, it's like inside information, man. You really want to take care of that relationship. And then learning outcome 6, describe the role of information in networking. The role of information is to form the basis of these connections. It's all about the information, the exchange. Everything starts and ends with information, whether or not it's valuable. Information is a tool for producing knowledge, and information can be seen as a body of disconnected facts. When a body of facts is ordered and interrelated, it becomes knowledge. So that's how it goes from information to now knowledge. So when if it's information, it means it's just, one sentence here and another sentence that doesn't really connect with them. But then if perhaps you're given context, it becomes more than information, because now it becomes interrelated. You understand how one applies to the second one, because maybe we're in the context of whatever the topic is. So when a body of facts is ordered and interrelated, that's how it becomes knowledge. The entrepreneur must overcome two main problems when collecting and ordering facts. First, how to store and organize the data, and secondly, how to identify and locate appropriate information or knowledge. So you can't just believe whatever is said to you. You need to know whether or not that information is valuable or not, and that requires some sort of a brain, if I can say it like that. In most cases, the information needed is not really available. If it were available, imitators could easily enter the market and reduce the potential profit. So, this is inside information that we're talking about. So, yeah. And then how do you apply networks to your business? Once a business has grown large enough to have a formal structure, internal networks will also then become important. And formal structures, and remember, and I think I don't know what learning unit, I think 1, 2, or 3, we talk about the business functions of a business. And these are the formal structures. Formal structures are prescribed networks which consist of people who are grouped together to perform some business function, such as departments, work groups, or committees. A department is the sales department, people who are doing the same thing, working together. And then informal structures are coalitions and cliques that form without the formal authority of the organization. So you can say maybe within the sales, the formal structure of the sales department, there are also now internal cliques. Maybe the top 3 salespeople, they are friends by themselves because they're the rich ones. They know what it's like to have money. So they form friendships, and then the struggling ones, they also maybe form their own structure. And then organizations are clusters of people joined by various links. Internally, these networks transform the following: goods and services, mentioned because they come and work on those goods and services. Information about the organization and the environment into which it operates, influence, both formal instructions and informal attempts to persuade, and then affect, which are exchanges of friendship amongst people in the business. So they're all together. They really do sound good. It sounds like a friendship. It gives me like a warm feeling. Informal internal networks are very important in fast-growing ventures because it is largely through persuasion rather than formal authority that instructions to subordinates are carried out. It's through persuasion, not formal authority. People, respect your how do they say? In Bible terms, they would say your fruit. People respect your fruit, the outcomes of your works, and not really the fact that you've got a title. Your title doesn't really mean much. It's what you are able to bring to the table. And yeah, so if you kind of want that kind of influence. And then explain the value of networking to the growth of a business. Information, knowledge, and data are the lifeblood of a high growth business. The growing business must be able to renew itself and adapt to a rapidly changing environment. This is achieved through innovation within an opportunity structure, and the entrepreneur must form linkages and connections between available niches and resources. The entrepreneur is still very much key, even though the business is large and employs many people. And then the last learning outcome, explain the various networking skills that required. And here is a list of a few networking skills that you should try to develop. Number one, communication. And we are obviously, because you as an entrepreneur talk your way into business, in and out of business actually, which then also comes to negotiation. You need to be able to negotiate so that you can get what you want. So if somebody says 500 rand per session, you're just like, listen, bruh, first of all, and then you lay that to them. And then influencing and motivational. I love that word. I love motivational because you've got an important role as an entrepreneur. You've got a lot of people whom you are trying to use to build your vision. So I'm an advocate for giving a person what they want in order for you to get what you want. So make them happy, and they'll definitely make you happy as your employees. And then leadership, know what you're talking about and lead strong, and then assertiveness, and which comes back to that, leadership quality. And apart from these networking skills, there are three important aspects about which you should have a thorough knowledge. Again, number one, know your personal needs. For instance, do you like to travel or not? Don't take a travel, we talked about communication. Maybe if you're not going to be great in communication, don't become an entrepreneur, because how else are you going to lead your company, right? Know your own abilities. Are you strong enough to lead people? Know your business and your industry. People must come to you and say, hey, Tseho, we know that we know this about da. What do you think about whatever? And you give them advice, and with that advice, they actually achieve what they wanted. So you become respected, Yeah, man. And that's it for this learning unit. In summary, we talked about social networks. There are personal networks, and then we've got extended networks, which are, businesses doing business with businesses. Yeah, businesses doing business with businesses. Another line that I created. Thank you so much. That's it.